I've saved my progress is bigbluetongue.ai, found inside the O9 pen tool folder. And in this exercise, we're going to go ahead and add those stripes inside of the tongue. And to give you a sense of what I'm talking about, I'll press Control-Y, Command-Y in a Mac to switch to the outline mode. So really, truly, the blue fill that I've assigned to the tongue so far only appears at the tip of the tongue. Then we have a gold stripe because the crocodile is such a god, don't you know? And then we have some red interior stuff going on. So red tongue action and red gums as well. So what do you do if you want to assign different colors to the interior of a fill? Well, there's a variety of different ways to work. I could add some additional fills here inside the appearance panel, and then I could scoot those fills around so that one fill reveals another. But I really need to wrap each one of these fills around the contours of the tongue. So the better approach is to draw a gold shape and a red shape inside of the existing tongue path. Switch over to the layers panel. And I'll scroll down to the tongue item right there. Notice that it's misspelled. Isn't that nice? I'll go ahead and double click on it. It has too many U's, so let's get rid of that guy. Click OK. And I'll meatball that tongue to make it active so that it's selected there inside of my illustration. Now I'll expand my toolbox so that I can see the bottom here. And I'll switch to the Draw Inside mode. And of course, you can cycle between those modes by pressing Shift-D for Draw. I'll just go ahead and click on that icon, however, and you can see now that the tongue is surrounded by these dotted corner markers, which indicate that I've now isolated the tongue inside of Illustrator. And to make sure I don't mess up anything else, these other path outlines are really going to get in my way here. I'm going to lock them down by clicking in the lock column in front of these various objects right here, so that everything except the tongue is locked. All right, now I'll grab the pen tool. And I will draw a shape like so. I'm going to go ahead and drag this anchor point. So I'll create a smooth point with two symmetrical control handles. And then I'll draw another smooth point down here like so. And I might press the space bar in order to align that point a little better inside of the illustration. Next, I'm just going to click on this anchor point. That's all I have to do. Click on it again in order to sever away the next control handle, because I want the next segment to be straight, and I'll go ahead and click to create that straight segment. Now, you might ask, why do I want a straight segment at this location? Well, for two reasons. First of all, it's easy to create. I don't have to worry about control handles. And secondly, this straight edge is going to be clipped away by the tongue itself. All right, now I'll drag away from that corner point in order to create a new control handle. So I've got a kind of a cusp point now. It's a corner point that has just one control handle, not the other one. And this is perfectly legal, by the way. This fits with the rules that I've showed you so far, because we'll still have two control handles associated with a curved segment and no control handles associated with a straight segment. That's exactly the way you want to do it. All right, now I'll draw another smooth point up here, and then I'll click on it in order to sever away that control handle, and I'll click on the first point in order to close off the path with a straight segment, like so. All right, now I'll go ahead and fill the shape with yellow by going to the swatches panel and clicking on the yellow swatch right there. And then to see what we've got, I'll press Control-Y or Command-Y on the Mac. And sure enough, we have this totally, utterly awesome gold stripe across the tongue. And that's exactly what I want. All right, let's go over here to the Layers panel. And notice now that I have a group. So where once I had a path that was called Tongue, I now have this group that's called Group, and I'm going to rename this group Tongue. This time, hopefully I'll spell it properly. Click OK, and then I'll twirl open the Tongue group, and inside of that I have this Tongue object, which happens to be a clipping mask, and we'll learn more about clipping masks in a later chapter in the advanced portion of this series. And then I've got this gold path, which I'm going to rename Ring, because it's a ring around the tongue, and I'll click OK. All right, next we need to make the rear section of the tongue red as well as the gums up above, and we are going to accomplish both of those tasks in the next exercise.